Monday brought to you exclusively from Salesforce. Each week we'll talk about the previous week's most popular questions. We'll also talk about what's new and what's to come. We hope this helps with the training curve and allows you to maximize the most out of Salesforce in your day. Let's go ahead and get started. Well, I need to shorten up that intro. It's getting kind of long, isn't it? Anyways, we're going to go over today part 2 of the spring release for 2011. So let's jump into it. We'll probably have to break this down into 2 different videos just because there's a lot of stuff going on. We did some spring cleaning over the weekend, and you guys probably saw that. We're just going to recap and go over a few new things and talk about what else is to come. So the first thing is, with the spring release was Chatter, and that's already been rolled out. There's been some question around that as far as why do we have it, what's to come, what's next. We are going to touch on all of that in the upcoming regional meetings, so stay tuned for more details on that. Today we're going to wrap up the training on the streamlined workflow for the site contacts, and then next week we're going to go over the workflow for the feeders, and then the following week we're going to talk about the analytics behind the survey that's part of the new workflow. And we're going to wrap it up with the dynamic dashboard, which is a new feature within Salesforce, and the upgrade on reporting. So that's to come in a couple weeks. Then we'll go ahead and we'll take a break and come out to the regional meetings, and then we will have a summer release after that. Let's talk about the triggers for the campaigns. Thank you guys for giving us your feedback. We did make some modifications based off of some of your suggestions. In order to trigger the timeline, we first have to come up with a date and time, and that is our end and time date field. And that starts the trigger for everything. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a look at that here in just a second, but we're also going to talk about what triggers this workflow. So anything that's equal to, or I should say not equal to, corporations and hospitals. So if it's equal to corporations and hospital, the industry, then nothing's going to go out at all. Same thing as if the site change checkbox is checked, nothing's going to go out, as well as no marketing. If that box is checked, then nothing will go out either. So let's go ahead and go over to our live board and go ahead and walk through an example of this. All right, I'm going to jump over to a test contact, or I should say account, and we're going to be in the Aaron's Church of Angels. First thing I want to take a look at is whenever you have an account, before you go ahead and create a screening, you want to make sure that this industry field is up to date. Since it's something other than corporation or hospital, something will go out. Cheryl is updating on a deadline basis what hospitals, based off of contracts that are new and contracts that have expired, which hospitals or sponsors are related to every single account that is within Salesforce. So just wanted to let you know where these 2 fields are pulling from. Now this industry field is being carried over into screenings and into campaigns. If you scroll down, we cleaned up a little bit on the related list. You always see now the open activities will be next, followed by activity history, and then come your contacts. I'm going to go ahead and click on new screening, and let's go ahead and get started on creating this. July the 4th will make up the screening date. Hopefully everybody will be on the lake or on the beach, but for this example, we're going to be working. All right, the arrival time, I would recommend that you guys put the colon in here followed by the 00. It just looks cleaner on the letter that comes out. You don't have to, but it looks a lot neater. New site, site grade, and here's your room rent. So let's say the room rent is $50. Sponsor for screenings. I would like for you guys to skip over this. I'm going to point this out here in just a second. Leave it as none, and then I'm going to come over here and select the contact name, write in the ER number. It's a community event, and you're going to select your facility type. I'm going to click on Save, and we just created a new screening. If you take a look, because there was a sponsor in that account, it's going to bring over that sponsor name. So Little Bo Peep is our hospital that's sponsoring this area, and we do want them to stay within all the marketing pieces. Let's say for some reason I don't know, onesie or twosie, we don't want the hospital name or the sponsor name on the marketing materials. I did allow this type of field right here to come in and to be customized. So you can click on the pencil, and if you want to select that to know, that's what's triggering, whoops, there we go, the sponsor field. So you just want to verify and make sure that that looks good. It'll be carried over automatically. Also, within the last 30 days, we've taken all of the screenings. Goodness, there was probably over 25,000 of them, I believe, and screening events, and we moved them over to screening. So that way all the data is consistent and in one area. I added down here who the HSC name was for a specific screening, just in case you didn't have that into your territory. You can see who that person is, and you can reach out to them through Chatter. Next, let's go ahead and create a new campaign. It's going to remain as an automatic workflow, and I'm just going to go ahead and walk through this pretty quickly. Campaign name is a copy and paste, same as before. The company, if it's anything other than LLSA, go ahead and select it, and the number of flyers will need to be plugged in. The date of flyer arrival, remember that's about a 16 to 17 day turn time, so we'll go ahead and plug that date in. And now it's asking you about room rent. Just make a mental note, we're going to come back to that room rent. There is room rent, therefore I want to go ahead and check that box. Is blood offered in this area? It is. And do you want the blood announcement? I'm going to go ahead and say yes. And do I want any of the attachments to come over with the confirmation letter? With the attachments, it's an all or nothing type of thing. So there's going to be the site requirement and also the liability insurance. So I'm going to say yes. And on the site signature confirmation, we've got a lot of RISs that use this where they say please sign and verify that everything meets the requirements. But in this case, I'm going to select no. Personal paragraph, I hope your daughter is feeling better. That's just something a little bit extra if you want to add a personal touch to it. The start date is always going to be the date that you enter in the campaign, and this is the end date and time that starts the trigger, and everything is going to be based off of this field right here. So that end date is actually your screening date. I'm going to come in and plug in the July 4th, and I want all of our stuff to come out as far as the time of day of 8 o'clock in the morning. You can keep it at 4:23 or whatever time that was. But I'm going to go ahead and change it so that way they get it first thing in the morning. The account site name, this is a duplicate area. I know that. We're doing that for a reason, though. That way you can see the campaign now on your main screen. So it only takes a second, especially when you start typing, it brings it up. Contact nickname is going to be Pastor Christine, and there's no secondary name. If you want to be CC'd on everything that goes out, you can plug your name in there, and you want to make sure that these two boxes are left blank. So I'm going to click on Save. We just sent out everything that's in the workflow. I'm going to go back to that screen so that way we can finish and recap on that one page. There comes the email. We're going to take a look at that in just a second. Now, triggers for the campaign. Just to recap, we filled in the which is the screening date and time, and our industry was a church, so it was something other than a corporation or a hospital. And the site change was not checked, and the no marketing checkbox was not checked. Therefore, everything has gone out within the system. So what is the system and what is the timeline? I'm going to pause right here. I think we're right around 9 minutes, 10 minutes or so. We'll come back to this on the second video and go a little bit deeper.